Committee will follow up on that. Mr. Raskin, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
And Madam Chair, thank you very much. Mr. Runcie, there's been a documented pattern of abuse with the student loan companies for many years now. Lots of scams have taken place. In 2012, the IG reported that a student loan company improperly accessed student borrower accounts to change the contact information of the borrowers in order to, quote, make it difficult for the borrowers to be contacted by their loan servicers. Why would they do that? What's the scam? Can you explain to us how that works for them?
Thank you. So they're commercial entities and they're fee-for-service entities. So
these are legitimate businesses then? These are not internet scammers? Or
they're not internet scammers, but the nature of the interaction between, those entities and the students and borrowers, I can't characterize that. But they're businesses that are formed to provide commercial services, whether it's loan consolidation or something else. It seems and it appears that in cases where they want to have a level of control to create a transaction or to continue through the process, they change email addresses and potentially mailing addresses and so forth to facilitate the process that they're taking the students and borrowers through.
But how do they profit from it? They take over the student's account?
It's a fee. They may charge, and I'm just going to make up a number. Let's say they charge $100 per consolidation or more. So there's an agreement that they will consolidate the loans and create a lower payment amount or whatever the agreement is, and they would be paid for that.
So did this actually take place? I mean, in one example, the IG reported in 2013, a company charged borrowers a monthly fee, I think it was $60, in order to put their loans into forbearance with the promise of enrolling them in the public service loan forgiveness program eventually, which they weren't qualified for. But did that actually happen with people?
My understanding is that there are these companies that provide these services, and a part of that process sometimes is they put people in forbearance with the understanding that they're ultimately going to go into consolidation. So those are third-party entities involved in a transaction that doesn't include the department, except for the fact that they're using the email addresses and the resources that we have to facilitate transactions where they make money.
So just to get you straight there, they're using your website essentially as the framework to access their victims, then they prey on the people, but as far as you know, they might still be in this scam relationship with the students. Yeah,
we've looked at IP addresses and we've looked at some of the activity, and in some cases you will actually see loan consolidations, whether it's 10% or 100% of their clients, we don't know. What we've stressed is user education to make sure people are aware that they can get these services done for free by leveraging resources that the department provides.
Well, I get complaints on a daily basis pretty much from my constituents who feel like the whole system's a scam, but you're talking about a scam on top of a scam in a way. You're talking about people who are in serious debt from college, and then some of these kind of low-riding companies are able to access them, charge them more money to offer them either real or completely illusory services, right?
That's right.
Okay, who is the ombudsman and champion of America's students and college graduates who's looking out for the scams in the IRS, the Department of Education, at every level of government? Is there anybody?
Yeah, I think we play a role, the department plays a role. So, for instance, I mentioned user education. The IG has noticed that this is an issue, and we're doing some things with our systems to make sure that we give them an additional tool or lever that they can use to prosecute, bad entities. So, we play a role in that. And
how many prosecutions have there been since this was revealed?
I don't have that information.
Have there been any prosecutions?
We don't prosecute. It would have to be through the IG or some other.
And let me just say, I know everybody up there is working hard for the American people and has a tough job, but the overall institutional sense that I get is one of basic passivity and reactivity to events rather than getting on top of it. We've got millions of people who are carrying these loans. I think there's more student debt in America than there's credit card debt now. It's more than $1 trillion. And obviously there's a lot of money being made there, including by people who are going out and preying on people who are already laboring under the burden of these loans. Do we need to create an ombudsperson, somebody who's just a champion of the students and the graduates to make sure that they're not getting ripped off at every step of the process?
Yeah, I mean, we have an ombudsman, but it's not a sort of a pervasive, all-inclusive person that sort of channels resources across government, across IGs, across operations. So that is potentially something that could be useful. But
where is that ombudsperson located? Is that
the ombudsman is located within FSA? They deal with complaints and issues that we can resolve. Their operational issues, the customer service issues. They could be school-related issues. But in terms of
did that person ever raise any of these issues with you about scams being perpetrated on students through the website?
No, those scams are done by third-party entities that are outside of our scope. And
so basically, it was nobody's responsibility to try to identify that threat. Is that right? I mean, that's not a gotcha question. I'm just trying to figure out, prevent this from happening again. Because, there were cases of this going back 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah, again, the commercial entities that are marketing to students to provide services to those students, and the students agree to, obtain those services, and the questionable nature and value of those services is not something that we police. What we've been trying to do is provide user education and let people know that they don't need to use these resources. And we've, working with partner organizations and so forth, but we don't have any control over those entities.
Thank you very much for your answers, and I yield back, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Raskin.